Welcome to the celebration of the Longfellow. For those, yes. For those that do not know me, my name is Stephen Rice with Vesta Corporation. I had the pleasure, most days, of working on this project from the beginning of the RFP process. I feel grateful and honored to be up here speaking today as we celebrate the preservation and transformation of this historic building. This is a tremendous achievement for Vesta, for our many partners, for the Collinwood neighborhood, and the city of Cleveland. As I stand up here today, I can't help but think of all the obstacles we faced in the past 5 years that bring us to this day. We had a vision for the project, but struggled to assemble the financing sources needed to make it a reality. We had to go back to the drawing board a few times after several unsuccessful applications. We eventually came up with the most creative and complicated financial structure that Vesta has ever implemented. There was never a dull moment on this project. We try to expect the unexpected with any construction project. We try to plan for them, but we certainly didn't expect lightning striking the building in the middle of our construction project. In spite of these challenges, we pushed through. Most have turned into stories we laugh about now. I've heard even a few of them being talked about before we got started here today. The challenges helped form memories and build relationships that will go beyond this renovation. We turned this historic school, a reminder of a foregone era, into a vital resource for our senior community. This is a momentous occasion for many here today. I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank our partners who contributed to this project. Your support and expertise and patience were integral in making this transformation a reality. This list is long, and I'm very hopeful I don't leave anyone out. Councilman Polensek and the Cleveland City Council. The Cleveland Restoration Society. The City of Cleveland Department of Community Development. The Cleveland Metropolitan School District. Ohio Housing Finance Agency, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Key Bank, our investment equity partner, Bellwether Enterprise, providing the debt for us. Of course, we couldn't make this reality without Maruce Brothers Construction. Also LDA Architects. And the last few, GeoQuest Environmental Services for helping clean up the building. And Cyclops Technology Group. I'd also like to recognize members of the community that are here today, neighbors, local businesses, and even former staff and students. We recognize the important role that this school has played in your lives and are proud to have preserved this landmark. We celebrate not only the building, but also the memories and the education that many generations of students experienced here. As we cut the ribbon and officially open the doors, we recognize that our community is facing a severe housing crisis. From rising rents to inadequate housing options for seniors, the need for affordable housing has never been greater. This is why the Longfellow School preservation and future projects are essential to our community. It not only preserves the history and legacy, but also provides a critical and essential lifeline for those who need it most. In concluding this speech, I want to say on behalf of Vesta Corporation that we are incredibly grateful to everyone involved in making this project happen. The passion, commitment, and tireless work of everyone involved in this brought us to this moment. We look forward to seeing the difference this project makes in the lives of the seniors who call the Longfellow home and the community as a whole. Before finishing, I want to express my heartfelt appreciation for all the Vesta staff and colleagues who worked tirelessly on this project. Your dedication, expertise, and commitment made this project a winner. Your uncompromising standards have made this a beautiful and fitting tribute to this community's rich heritage and enduring spirit. Thank you all. And now I'd like to invite Councilman Polensek to come up here to say a few words.
Thank you, Stephen, and good afternoon. And I hope everybody can hear me, because I'm used to yelling at times. So today is a very special day, and I want to thank everyone who took the time to come out for this very special ribbon cutting, which I understand is going to be outside in this beautiful weather, I'm told. You know, when I walk in here, it brings me back to my childhood, remembering this building. My grandparents lived up the street here at 14115 Darley. I think of the businesses that were here. I think of the world headquarters of Eaton Corporation, which used to be across the street. I think about all the big businesses and the little shops and the little stores. And I think of the ethnic and racial mix-up of the neighborhood, how cosmopolitan it was. So when I became councilman, and due to redistricting, and when I picked up this area, I picked up an area where there was a closed school building. And I understood the history of this site and of this community and what it meant to my own family. And I'm very honored and pleased that I have three members of my cousins that are here today who are from the neighborhood. My cousin Billy, my cousin Jermaine, and my cousin Dominic, who are right from, this is their roots. They're from right here. And then my former colleague in Cleveland City Council, now magistrate in Cleveland Municipal Housing Court, Jeff Johnson, whose family was just over here on Darley Avenue, okay? And that only reinforces the ethnic and racial and cosmopolitan makeup of this community. But when I looked at this building and I would drive past it, I couldn't let this become another vacant lot in the city. I would not let that happen. And so, as I told the residents here who live in the neighborhood in the East 140th Street corridor, and I appreciate those that are here today, that come hell or high water, we're going to figure out how to save this building and reimagine and repurpose this neighborhood. And as a result of that, I landmarked the building, which did not make the Cleveland Metropolitan School District too happy, because then they couldn't tear it down. And they wanted to tear it down, unfortunately, believe it or not. And I couldn't not imagine a big empty lot sitting here in the neighborhood. I just could not imagine it. And I look at all the other beautiful school buildings, and when you look at this building, can you imagine a thought of tearing this down? Of course not. So we landmarked it, and then we started to talk to people. And I want to thank the Cleveland Restoration Society. Catherine, where are you, dear? Catherine, you're around here somewhere. Right here. Raise your hand. Catherine Crowder, because she jumped into this and she started working with myself and Jeff and others in the community. What we can do, we start talking to people, we start talking to architects, developers, et cetera, et cetera. And lo and behold, through all the work, and it was like maybe 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years of discussion. We found a wonderful developer out of Connecticut by the name of the Vesta Corporation. and a gentleman by the name of Arthur Greenblatt, who came to Cleveland and looked at this building, and as was said, pondered whether this would be a viable project, because it was a massive project, and decided to do it. And I know Arthur couldn't be here today because his wife is undergoing some medical procedure, but I have to say again, here's a man with vision. Here's a man that came to believe not only in Longfellow School, but in the Collinwood neighborhood. And so I can't say enough about his investment, not only him, but his son, all the people involved in the Vesta Corporation. And then they came across an outstanding contractor in the name of Maroos Brothers Company. I can't say, yeah. And when you look at this building and you look at the historical features, how they work to preserve the historical features of this building, and now as a result, we have 80 wonderful units for seniors in our neighborhood. This is the first senior development in the Collinwood Village area of the northeast side here. And if it wasn't again for Vesta and Maroos, it wouldn't have happened. But I also want to say this, and I don't know if he made it or not today, because Stephen touched on some of the people involved. The building was owned by the Board of Education, but they're not developers. So we had to figure out how to get it out of their hands. So my former colleague and former mayor of the city of Cleveland, Frank Jackson, agreed to take the building if we could turn it in one day. Think about that. We were going to take it in the morning, and in the afternoon or in the evening, we were going to get it, and that's just what we did. That's just what we did. We were able to take possession of the building from the Board of Education and turn it over to Vesta to do the project. And I want to thank, I know that Councilman Harrison is on his way. I don't know if he arrived yet. But I want to thank all my colleagues in City Council, because we usually don't take buildings because there's a liability associated with it. That's why we had to make sure it could go into the hands of a developer. So without the support of my brothers and sisters in Cleveland City Council, it would have never happened. So again, I want to say to all involved, and I know someone else who couldn't be here, Reverend Lassiter from New Life Missionary Baptist Church right across the street here. We started these discussions in his basement of the church. And I know he's got a deacon here. Where's your deacon? Right over here. I want you to... I want the pastor to know how appreciative I am of letting us sit in his basement on I don't know how many occasions and discuss this project and engage with the community. And I talked to the pastor a little while ago, again, whose wife is undergoing a procedure. That's why he couldn't be here as well. But it's that partnership that made this a reality. And what I want to say again, when we look at the city of Cleveland, that's what we need. We need to have partners. We need to have believers. Vesta believed in this neighborhood. I've never stopped believing in this neighborhood, even though I didn't represent it years ago. But I saw the potential. I saw the opportunity here. And as you leave this building today, I know you can't go past the bridge, but we're bringing down a streetscape, an entire streetscape project from St. Clair right to Lakeshore Boulevard. Massive multi-million-dollar project. We're looking at the construction of new homes in the neighborhood, single-family homes, ranch-style houses. We're looking at taking out the rest of the properties that are abandoned and or condemned. This neighborhood is coming back. One way or the other, as we said originally, we're going to repurpose it and reimagine it, and it's going to be a neighborhood, as we've all been proud of it over the years, but we're going to be more proud of it in the future because of what people are doing here. So all of you who are gathered here today, I want to say thank you. I want to thank my assistant, Mary Louise, who was involved in all those meetings as well. Yeah, I mean, believe me, this was a yeoman's project, and I hope you can get to see some of the apartments before you leave here today to see how beautiful they are. There is nothing like this in the city, to go in an apartment and you still have the blackboards on the wall, to still have the old cabinets and the accordion doors on the cabinets, just to see things that are so unique here that Vesta and Maroos, with the support of Catherine and everybody else, helped preserve. So again, to my colleagues, my former colleagues, to Jeff, by the way, who's running for judge, I hope you remember that, Jeff Johnson on Election Day, and everyone else who's gathered here today, I can't say enough about, and those of you who gave me support, because I'm sure there's some people who's thought, well, I hear what you're saying, Mike, but it ain't going to happen. It's been sitting there vacant for too long. When you believe, things can happen. When you believe, things can happen. And I have to say something else that's maybe not politically correct. I prayed for this project, okay? I prayed for this project because we had all these hoops and loops, and as Arn knows from Maroos, man, we had all these things to go through. You touched on them. I mean, it was one hurdle after another. But it's through the power of prayer, belief in the neighborhood, belief in a community, and there is tremendous potential. So I say to other potential developers that are out there, other potential builders that are out there, take a good look at our neighborhood. This neighborhood is worth investing in. This neighborhood is worth believing in. So again, I'm honored to be here. I thank you all for gathering, and I look forward to the ribbon cutting. Thank you. God bless all of you. Thank you. By the way, I forgot to bring it up. Someone who couldn't be here, but he notified me, the governor. Governor Mike DeWine, I forgot to mention that. We needed historic tax credits. It was in the winter, I don't know what year it was. I went down there to visit him. He said, come to my home. I came to his home. I sat in his dining room. His wife was making cookies in the kitchen for their granddaughter was having a birthday party. And I laid it out to him that we needed his state historic tax credits to do this project and how critical it was. And he's listening to me and he's telling me, I'm sitting there thinking I'm in the governor's dining room. But I'm talking about the project, and he's listening, and then I said this to him. I said, you remember George Voinovich? He said, yeah, I do. He said, I was his lieutenant governor, if you don't remember. I said, this is George Voinovich's old neighborhood. He said, that's all I need to hear. I'll support the project. So thank you, Governor DeWine, Frank Jackson. Thank you all who are not here. Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind hanging up here for one more second, we've got something for you. We wanted to recognize your tireless efforts on this project. Talking about meeting in the church, and we wouldn't be here today without everything you put into it. And so in the back wall there, we are dedicating this auditorium in your honor. Wow. We also have a few more dedications, and behind the new building, we have an outdoor space with some walking paths. We also have 4 benches out there, which we've also dedicated. One of them is being dedicated to the Cleveland Restoration Society for all their efforts. Another one of the benches is dedicated in memory of David Johnson, Jr. Another is dedicated in the memory of Virginia Maroos. And the final bench is dedicated in memory of Frank and Antonia Polensek. And now I'd like to invite Kathleen Crowther up here from the Cleveland Restoration Society to say a few words.
That is really nice that we get a bench. Wow. I don't know. You said it so fast. You said David Johnson. David Johnson is the father, I believe, of Jeff Johnson. Councilman Jeff Johnson. Stand up, Jeff. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful, because without the political support we had, Councilman Jeff Johnson and Councilman Mike Polensek, we wouldn't be here today. The local historic district designation, local landmark designation, is very powerful. And we would love a system of designation in Cleveland that was not political, actually, where a building, if it's eligible or an area is eligible, it would get designated as a landmark or a landmark district. But we don't have that system. And so it took real courage on the part of the councilmen and smarts, strategic smarts, to designate it. Really, I cannot remember if the district went to the hearing and object to it or not. But see, the Landmarks Department has the power to deny demolition permit. So once they knew that there was really strong political support for the preservation of the building, we had a better chance in interacting with the school district on the building. And I want to say that our organization, I'm the head of it, I'm really thrilled to be here, and honored to be the head of the organization, because I feel I represent many different voices that care about Cleveland history and Cleveland heritage. We formed a task force that met, I think, monthly for something like 4 years, hitting our heads against the wall, trying to figure out what to do. And Arn Goldman of Maroos Construction is back there. He is the ballast of the task force. I want to thank you, Arn, for serving on that task force. And of course, the councilmen were on the task force. Mary Louise, is anyone else here that was on the task force? And little by little, talking about, having a vision and believing in it, little by little, we are able to get closer and closer to the point where we could issue a request for qualifications among the development community on a national level, and then requests for proposals for the reuse of this historic building. It helped a great deal that there was land here and new construction could be built to make it a larger project than just the historic building. And the Vesta proposal was a standout proposal. We had 3 developers who were competing. We actually had 3 excellent responses. So the development community should look at other sites with these remarkable buildings, because they're not building them like they used to anymore. These buildings are tanks. They are so well constructed. They are extraordinarily expensive to demolish, and we have spent millions demolishing buildings like this. Let's instead, as a community, use those funds to rebuild buildings like this. Yeah, you can clap. And I'd just like to say one other thing. When I was put in my position, I think the councilman wants to interrupt my remarks or something. Just kidding. He can say what, he can do whatever. Okay. When I've been working in historic preservation in Cleveland for a long time, 34 years, it's hard to believe. But I remember the days when there were memories of Euclid Avenue, Millionaires Row, people that, were in some of those big houses. And I remember the memories of the tragedy of the Collinwood fire. So the Collinwood fire was a horrific event that killed over 100 children and teachers in this neighborhood. And the sorrow, kind of gets inherited through the generations. I think it's dissipating now, but The city of Cleveland, it was an internationally covered event. Donations came in on an international basis to heal the wounds and pay for the funerals, et cetera. And it changed the face of school construction on a national level. It changed the building standards for schools on a national level, and Cleveland led that charge. An architecture department was established, and one of the great architects of Cleveland schools built this school, Walter McCornack. And this was built to be a palace for learning that would never burn down, would always be safe, and here it is today. It will continue to be a palace for senior living now. So I am so grateful to the Vesta Corporation. I'm really grateful to the political support we had for the vision. So thank you all for coming here. Thanks for the bench. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathleen. Before we bring up our next speaker, I do want to recognize State Representative Terrence Upchurch for supporting the project and showing up today. So we want to thank you very much for your support. And now I'd like to bring up our nonprofit partner, Lifelong Learning, to say a few words. Introduce Amy Yankee, the Executive Director.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today representing Lifelong Learning. As Steve mentioned, my name is Amy Yankee, and I'm the Executive Director. For those of you that don't know Lifelong Learning, we have been providing social services to residents in affordable housing communities in the Cleveland area for over 20 years. In our partnerships with Vesta Corporation, we aim to create a safe and secure environment where seniors can feel at home and thrive. Active, engaged, healthy. Our service program is guided by 8 major areas such as health and wellness, transportation, education, recreation, socialization, safety and security, and community resources. These areas help ensure that our residents have access to all the necessary amenities and supportive services required to lead a happy and fulfilling life. This way they can age in place with grace and dignity. Today, we take another step towards fulfilling this mission. I speak for our entire staff and team when I say that we look forward to being a partner of the Longfellow's future and the thriving community it is on its way to becoming. I want to thank everyone who has been involved in making this project a reality, from the architects and the contractors who helped transform this historic building into a modern housing community, to the numerous dedicated staff members, and of course, the residents, who will soon call this place their home. Your hard work and commitment to our mission has not gone unnoticed. I commend our partner for their vision and leadership in bringing this project to fruition. Vesta's attention to detail and commitment to quality is evident throughout the community. From the modern amenities to the beautifully designed apartments, everything about this community speaks to the dedication to providing seniors with the best possible living experience. In closing, I want to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to speak to you today about Lifelong Learning's mission in partnership with Vesta Corporation. Our commitment to providing safe and secure communities for seniors is unwavering, and we will continue to work diligently to ensure that our residents thrive and have free access to the social services they need. Thank you again for the opportunity, and we look forward to continuing to serve this community for many years to come. Thank you.
you, Amy. And I want to introduce our next speaker, and this is why we do this. This is for the residents. We want to bring out Sandra Williams, one of our new residents. She'd love to say a few words, so.
To God be the glory. Come on, give God some praise. I can hear. Yeah. I would like for, if we would, I just want to start with all of our residents. We have the best residents and staff. But I want the residents to all stand that are here. And all that can't stand, raise your hands. Come on, give them some love, amen? We have the most beautiful rapport with each other, and I just so enjoy them. But I just want to say we want to thank you so much for this opportunity. We want to thank our staff. Angela, raise your hand, Angela. Everybody may not know you. Our manager, we just love her. Angela and Felice, where is she? There she is, hiding over there. Yeah, and where's Jimmy? Jimmy, is he here? Well, anyway, we want to thank you. The residents want to thank you for representing us the way you do. I had an experience where I was getting ready to move in Wycliffe. One of my sisters from my church and I came here to fill out an application. And I was all set up to move into this apartment and everything. And then a little birdie called me by the name of Angela. And she said, Mrs. Williams? I said, yes. She said, aren't you coming with us? I said, I don't think it's meant for me. She said, oh, yes, it is. I said, oh. And so I said, well, let me pray about it. And I got back to her, and here we are. So I just, I think this is the idea of Vista and all of this, I'm listening to you, it just seems like this is divinely done by God. Because somebody has to look out for the seniors. That's right. And we want to thank you because we need the attention from those who are in charge. Is that not right? So we just want to thank you so much again, and thank you for just looking out for us on that note. God bless you.
That's great to hear from some of our new residents. I'd like to bring up Tony Love to say a few words on behalf of Bellwether. They have been a big partner on the financing side, getting this project to work, helping go side by side with us as we overcome various obstacles and trying to figure out how to work with HUD, how to structure the project, and they've been an amazing teammate and partner. So, Tony?
Steve, really, thank you very much. We are really, really honored to be a part of this project. Personally, I am very honored of this as well. This is I think the third project we financed with the folks from Vesta. And the takeaway that I always have from these types of projects are kind of twofold. One is you always assemble a great team, and it's very easy to work with everybody in spite of all the challenges. And as Steve mentioned, this is one of the most complex projects that Vesta's put together. That really says something. And I'm glad we were able to still stay friends when everything was said and done. The other thing that I just really want to echo, Councilman Polensek, Kathleen, you mentioned this, it's just so incredible to see what a community can do when they bring together the desire to really shape the future of the community. And I think this is a great landmark to exemplify that and to illustrate that. And I hope that serves us well. Lord knows we need a lot of other projects in Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio. And I hope this can be a showcase for that. And Kathleen, again, thank you so much for your perseverance on this. It's a great way to demonstrate that. So again, thank you very much. We really appreciate the opportunity to be of service and look forward to the next one, I think.
Thank you, Tony. I know we've already mentioned his name before, but this project was brought to us through our long-term partnership with Marush Brothers Construction and Arn Goldman's ongoing work with the Cleveland Restoration Society. And so I'd love to have Arn come up here and say a few words as well.
Thank you, Steve. How are y'all doing? Good, me too. 7 years ago, I was in this room in a hazmat suit with Jeff Johnson, Michael Polensek, Kathleen Crowther, Tony Heedy, and a couple other people. And if you could only see now where and how far we've come, you'd say my response to this, which is hallelujah. So on behalf of the 190 office and 400-plus field employees of Marush Brothers Construction, every one of whom is aware of the significance of today in the history of this neighborhood, in the history of our company, in the history of our relationship with Cleveland City Council, and especially with Vesta Corporation, and apologizing for Chip Marush, who wanted to be here desperately and is stuck in Columbus. This project has special meaning to the Marush family. Virginia Marush went to elementary school here in this building. You know, we've been doing these kinds of projects for a long time, and we look for projects that make transformative advancements in neighborhoods, and we do projects in a lot of places and with a lot of clients. There is no client that we respect more than Vesta Corporation. I hope the neighborhood and the residents of this beautiful place realize how blessed you are to have partners in management and development like Vesta. They do the right things without fail in every neighborhood they've touched, and I can't tell you how proud and pleased we are to be part of many, many projects, and especially this project. You've heard that there was a lot of trials and tribulations in advancing this project. I think it was 8 or 9 years in total. And to Kathleen Crowther and Cleveland Restoration Society, God bless you for having the tenacity. To Jeff Johnson and Councilman Polensek, God bless you for having the tenacity and having the vision. Because here's what we know. Success happens at the intersection of opportunity and circumstance. And while some people, including at the time CMSD, saw this building as a blight, other people, invested stakeholders, saw a tremendous opportunity here. And the circumstance was ripe for us to create a new path forward that CMSD now uses, a new blueprint for taking beautiful old Cleveland schools and giving them back to the neighborhoods. Because here's what we know. We know that schools in Cleveland are the cultural hub of every neighborhood, just as Longfellow is the cultural hub. And part of the mission of Marush Brothers Construction and Vesta and all the partners and the wonderful lenders who we've heard from and a lot who we haven't, our mission was to restore this place to be a place of pride for this neighborhood. And I think it's going pretty well. What do you think? So at Marush, I just want to say to our staff, many of whom are here, many are still back at the office working on other cool transformative projects. You all did an amazing job. Doug, and Jared, and everyone, Sharon, Lowenstein Durante Architects, LDA Architects, a wonderful partner for us, the superintendents and the project managers and the estimators, the entire team. There's probably 40 or 50 people at Marush before we talk about the tradespeople who touch this project. So congratulations and thank you to all of you, and God bless.
Thank you, Steve. How are y'all doing? Good. Good. Me too. 7 years ago, I was in this room in a hazmat suit with Jeff Johnson, Michael Polensek, Kathleen Crowther, Tony Heedy, and a couple other people. And if you could only see now where and how far we've come, you'd say my response to this, which is hallelujah. So on behalf of the 190 office and 400-plus field employees of Marush Brothers Construction, every one of whom is aware of the significance of today in the history of this neighborhood, in the history of our relationship with Cleveland City Council, and especially with Vesta Corporation,
Thank you, Arn. All right, we're about to go out in front and cut for the formal ribbon cutting.